All right, it is time to talk about episode 7 of season 1 of Wheel of Time. The Dark Along the Ways, I think, is what the name of this episode is. And right off the back, I'm just going to say the overall feeling I have in this episode is that is ending a lot like the ending of book 1, but not in a good way. If you've read The Eye of the World, the ending is sort of clunky, a little rushed, feels a little too epic, feels like there's not enough payoff for certain things. I think whether it's like sort of a fandom legend or real, is that initially Robert Jordan was only going to write a standalone about the Dragon Reborn actually defeating the Dark One. And so, he only planned for that one book, not for the whole series that eventually happened. So that's why the end of the book 1 is so sort of rushed and has a lot of information kind of thrown at you, which could, again, I don't know the veracity of that or not, but that's how book 1 felt to me, and that's kind of how the end of this series is feeling. I think episode 7 is definitely not up to snuff of the past few episodes that we have seen. The writing overall, to me, felt a little clunky. Like the conversations, the disagreements, just the dialogue as a whole, some of the character payoffs, all of it felt a little clunky, a little rushed, a little unnecessary at times. But it's kind of that's how the book ends. And when they accepted the idea of what happens at the Eye of the World, I won't say anything more about that because that'll be next week, which I am excited for. I think with that decision, they had to also decide to rush a couple things that they could maybe do slower. And, in the long run, I think the extended time we had at Tar Valon is worth potentially rushing some of the stuff here. So I'm okay with that. So let's just start off at the beginning of the episode. The Matt stuff. Obviously, if you don't know, there's a lot of production level stuff with the actor we don't know a lot of information about, but he was not able to continue and actually left mid-shoot, broke contract. And so as far as being put in a really hard bind, I think they did a really good job figuring out how to deal with that. Rewriting, I'm sure, this episode to not have Matt, the last 2 episodes to not have Matt at all. And to still signal that he's going to have a place, Matt Cawthon, in the future of the series because they're going to look for him. Moiraine sends that message. And interestingly, she says to send it to the Reds, which obviously we know they have no love for men, just regular men, let alone potentially men that can channel, which in this series we still don't know if Matt can or cannot. So I think I thought they did well enough with what they had to do in this hard situation. The ways overall I thought were cool. The evil wind and the Trolloc out of nowhere, all of that I thought was very interesting. They didn't spend as much time as I thought they were going to be in the ways. I thought that was going to be a very extended episode, but again, with only 8 episodes, or 10, however many they have in that first step. In the first season, they had to go very, very quick. But I thought it established that it's a cool thing for moving long distances, but also, is scary and dangerous, and explains why all these Trollocs got to the Two Rivers. Lan says it outright. I will say I think that was sort of undermined a little bit by the fact that I'm surprised we still haven't had a shot of the map. I thought in this episode there'd be something where Lan is looking at a map while they're stuck in the ways and says okay, Tar Valon is Two Rivers is here, Tar Valon is here, we're going here, just kind of show where things are because there haven't really been any geography. So a lot of names and places, the Borderlands, the Blight, don't really mean a whole lot to audiences that haven't read the book. So I don't think they're going to do, in season 1, it doesn't seem like they're really going to amend that. So maybe we'll have to wait till The Great Hunt, that's the second book name. So it's season 2 to figure that out more. Who knows? And I forgot the opening scene. Fantastic. I was, after that first scene, I was like, this is going to be my favorite episode. And then it kind of went, not downhill, but not as to the heights. I think the best part is that opening scene with, not a spoiler, Rand's mom. I think that's clear by the end of the episode, who's a badass, just her giving birth and still slaughtering a bunch of people who are trying to kill her. establishes so many cool things. The Aiel, which we'll learn more about, so I won't say more. Like their culture, the strength of like their women warriors, and the idea behind that, their use of spears in battle, just like a good choreographed fight scene. Really, really good, like practical, good fight. Loved that. And then sort of how it pays off at the end of the episode, I think is really, really great. So that was, I think, the best part. Well, second best part of this episode. I'll get to my favorite part in a little bit. So let's see, where am I next? Okay, so next up is the reveal of Min. I'm not going to say any book spoilers, except that Min is one of my favorite characters in the Wheel of Time, and I think very underrated, and a character I think the TV show could utilize in a better way than the actual books did. I won't say more than that, but I love Min as a character. I thought she was really great. Pretty much not like what I pictured, because I don't really picture faces or like people, but like her, the way she like holds herself, and like the conversation with her and Rand, I thought was very interesting. I liked that. There were a couple scenes that I thought were a little rushed and stilted. The sort of like brief Perrin, Egwene, Rand like love triangle misunderstanding, that whole discussion, very weird to me. And it just didn't land. It felt very out of place. They had enough tension already with like what they think of Moiraine, like how they started this argument, without trying to like pigeonhole in this idea of like Rand being jealous of Perrin, or maybe not. It just didn't fit. It didn't make sense. Perrin was with Egwene for a long time. So if they ever wanted to like when they were with the Travelers, if they ever wanted to sow seeds of them like romantically, they could have done it there, but they didn't. Like it's very clearly a platonic like brother-sister relationship. So that was kind of dumb. And just didn't, I shouldn't say dumb, but it just didn't work. Although I liked at points Lan going to his like adopted family, so to speak, and speaking with them and showing sort of more of Lan's like loving side. I thought it was a little forced in the like consummation, so to speak, of their relationship. I don't mean just like sexually, but like the fact that they're like Lan and Nynaeve are like, yeah, we're interested. It just seemed a little too on the nose, a little too quick. Again, a lot of the stuff in this felt like quick, abrupt, wasn't as good as I thought it could be. But the cool part about it is we did get our first Nynaeve tugged braid for us book readers. I appreciated that. It was subtle. It wasn't huge, but it was really nice. I thought that was fun. I like that the romance between Egwene and Rand is still around and still a really like strong part of like the decision-making process, because I think that slight change from the books, at least in my memory. But let's not get over the main, or like miss the main thing here. Rand is the Dragon Reborn. Loved that reveal. I thought that was great. Like the whole like flashback to his dad, and then that connecting to the first scene that we already saw, and we're wondering about like how is that relevant to this tale. Then with Tam in the forest, al'Thor. So good, like flashing back to moments. So like the audience is seeing that this has been like the case all along. It's not just something he comes up with. All of that I thought was great, culminating in him knocking on Moiraine's door and saying, "It's me," and them two going off into the Blight. I thought that was great, and it really not redeemed, because again, it's not a bad episode. I just thought it didn't read the heights of the other episode, but overall, really enjoyed that, and I am pumped for the final episode. Prepare yourself at reading the book. There's going to be a lot that happens, and actually one key element that was, remember those weird dreams that Rand was having a couple episodes ago and Perrin was having? That's a much bigger element in the books than so far it has been in the TV show, and part of the big payoff at the end. So I'm curious how that's going to work without that heavy imagery or foreshadowing. But I'm really excited. I have to say, this show really has gotten into my head as a show, not just as I'm interested to see how they adapt the book. There's enough changes that leaves me kind of guessing, enough time since I've read it to have where I can have some suspension of knowledge, even though I know overarching themes. And I've been enjoying it. I think honestly, so far, as long as they don't drop the ball next week, this has been a incredibly successful first season. I hope people that haven't read the books are as excited about it as I am, because I think really this can just grow and grow the more seasons come through. So what did you think of episode 7? Let me know in the comments below. Like this video, please. Subscribe to me. I'm actually pretty close to my next milestone. So, just click the like button or subscribe button, whatever. Thank you guys for watching. As always, first in, last out.